All right, next up we have Tennessee State head coach Rod Reed. The Tigers coming off a loss to number 10 ranked Jacksonville State this past week. They'll be at home again. They're going to host EIU on Sunday. So, Coach, just thoughts on your team after 2 weeks of spring play, and then we'll get into some questions.
Well, it was a tough loss on Sunday. We got off to a slow start again. I thought we picked it up defensively. After again giving up 2 touchdowns, defensively we picked it up a little bit. Forced them to punt. Gave our offense some good field position in certain positions, but we just couldn't get anything going really offensively. We had a couple of big plays, but in between those big plays, we didn't get a lot going. And I thought defense hung tough. I think it's 21-16 with about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And then we started to wear down a little bit on defense and gave up another big play. And they kind of put us to bed from there. But, the team continued to fight hard. Again, we're still in the growing process here with this spring season being off with the long layoff. But we had our opportunities. We overshot, I think, a couple of touchdowns in that game that could have made a difference in the game. But I did think, the kicking game, we played well. I thought Mosley punted the ball really well. It got us out of some backed up situations several times. We were good on kickoff coverage. Didn't return very many punts the other day, but I thought we played well in the kicking game. And, I thought defensively we gave ourselves a chance for about 3.5 quarters there to be competitive and win a football game. But you got to play 60 minutes. We got to put it all together. And, we look to do that this week against Eastern Illinois.
And something that Coach Gross had talked about in one of his questions was about you all have a lot of youth on your team or a lot of newcomers. So how much of that is a transition to, since you didn't play in the fall and getting these newcomers around into the role, comfortable in the roles they're playing for you?
Well, that's huge, man. You got some guys out there playing for the first time. Ken Andrews, he started at safety for us. Kenyon Garlington still getting his feet underneath him. And up front, Chris Walker had a big game. He's a true freshman out there playing. So, the newcomers, that didn't help us not being able to play in the fall. But, the same cards were dealt to pretty much everybody. I think Jacksonville State and Austin Peay did play in the fall. And, that plays to their advantage a little bit. But we got to continue to prepare, continue to grow as a team. And if we can put it together and, get a better start, we'll put ourselves in a great opportunity to be successful.
Devon Starling is one of your newcomers, 96 rushing yards, and that was a game high. Thoughts on his contributions?
Well, he's a tough runner. We knew what we were getting in him. He was Mr. Football here in the state of Tennessee a couple of years ago. And, we were happy to get him transferred back in here from Memphis. But, he's still a kid that had never seen any game action. He's a scout team player there. He's come here and made a huge contribution to us, and we got to figure out a way to get him the ball more.
And when you talked about when you trimmed the lead to 21-16, that was Isaiah Green to Cam Weiss. What about that? That's a 58-yard completion. Just those two players hooking up.
I mean, Isaiah's still getting comfortable with his receivers. I mean, he overshot, Dayron Johnson in the end zone. And I think Cam Weiss on another long pass that we had, we had beat the coverage on. So that's just a maturation process. And I think, when he gets settled in, we'll start making those connections and we'll be able to make some big plays. But in order to do that, we got to be able to run the football efficiently. And we haven't done that the first 2 weeks. Starling had, 95 rushing yards, but a bulk of them came on one big rush. So we've got to be able to be more efficient running the football to be able to set up your play action game and shots down the field.
You mentioned your special teams, and you had the specialist of the week, Antonio Zita. Mosley, probably, if we could have had 2 awards, you both would have won it. Let's talk to Zita again. He's with your team, and then he left, but he came back, and 36, 41, and 47 into the wind. Just that consistency that he brings for you.
Yeah, we know when we cross the 30, we got a chance for a points play with Zita in our lineup, and we're fortunate to be able to have him. And we just hope that he stays that consistent, the rest of the year. I think the one that he missed was in that rainstorm down there at Austin Peay, and he kind of slipped on his plant foot or whatever because it was really a chip shot. But he's been consistent for us for a couple of years, and we think that he'll continue to be that way. And we know that we do have a weapon in our kicking game, both kicking and punting.
Yeah, and Caleb averaged 61 yards per, or that was on kickoff. Sorry, he averaged 43 yards and had a long of 52. obviously as you get deeper into the season, that'll be another weapon to be able to flip the field when you need to.
For sure. You know, Mosley did a good job the first 2 weeks punting football. So we know that, and we feel comfortable, you know, with him kicking the ball. He knows how to place it. He gets good height on his punts. It's hard to return his punts. They turn over. You know, we had, I think, 2 or 3 muffed the other day just because of the way he kicks the ball and gets it to turn over. So hopefully he can continue to be that consistent also in our kicking game.
Just a little bit more on EIU then, and they're coming off. They played SEMO, and then they were at UT Martin and got a good defensive against them. What have you seen from EIU? And they were obviously really young last year when you all played them. Have you seen anything that's different from the 2019 game?
You know, I think they're pretty stout up front on defense. You know, they make it tough for you up there. So, you know, we've got to make sure that we stay on blocks and block those guys in the pass protection game. You know, offensively, they have some explosive guys on the outside. They got a really good quarterback, you know, that gets the ball around to a lot of different receivers. So we have our work cut out for us. And, you know, they're a growing football team. And you can see them getting better from week 1 to week 2. So we've got our work cut out for us. We have to continue to focus on us and make sure that we do the things that we do well, and we'll let the rest take care of itself.
When you talk about their offense and their quarterback, they throw a lot of quick passes too, and you said they get a lot of passes to a lot of different receivers. What is the challenge for your defense? Is it just to keep the players in front of them, or is there something else you're looking for when you're trying to defend a team that throws it 50 plus times a game?
Well, you know, the best pass defense is a pass rush. And this kid gets the ball out of his hands pretty good, pretty fast. So we've got to be able to, you know, generate a pass rush and get in his face, move him off the spot a little bit. But he does a good job of moving in the pocket and finding receivers. So we got to be disciplined in our zone coverage and our man coverage and make sure that we do keep everything in front of us.
Last question, you know, obviously the first game got delayed, but you're able to play at home and you get to play at home again. How much would that just favor your team 2 weekends at home in a row to, as you say, work on yourself and get better and not have to be traveling?
Well, we need that. You know, we need to be at home. You know, I love the crowd that we had on Saturday. It was actually bigger than I anticipated. You know, we had the band out there. It's a great atmosphere in the whole. And now we got to show up as a football team and do our part.
And I lied. One more. Everybody was negative the first couple of weeks, and the weather was bad. The weather has been hopefully getting better. Is that just going to make, as the weather gets better each week as we go deeper in the season, just help your team in a little bit better conditions, play maybe a little better?
Well, nobody likes to play in the conditions that we played in that first game. It's always great to have nice weather. It's good for the game. It's good for the fans. It's good for everybody involved. So. Yeah, it was great to have, you know, some really nice weather, you know, a little breezy out there at times, but it was a great atmosphere and great weather.
Coach, thanks for your time this morning. Good luck on Sunday. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, go Big Blue.